welcome back to the channel. I am the Lord Scrub, and I get not that many comments on my videos. I'm a pretty small channel, but when I do take the time to read some of your comments, even if I don't respond. And I was surprised that this comment got a few interesting replies and an interesting response from the original commenter. Now, I made a video a few weeks ago at this point, but it came out a few days ago. And I was poking fun at the idea that, you know, Hollywood has this strange beef with Christianity specifically, which I find very interesting. And the original commenter basically responded with basically I'm ignoring the context like of the clip from whatever show or movie it's part of, and basically claiming a few things. First, that modern Christianity is hateful, which I don't know what you deem to be hateful personally. I don't know what your doctrine, I don't know what your morality is, so I'm not gonna comment on that or even defend or go against that. I'm gonna just say, okay, somebody's talking. But apparently the context of the original clip, according to them, was essentially basically like you'd only get it if you grew up in the church. Now, I don't know what they mean by the church personally, because they could be part of any Christian community under any label. And I was like, okay, move on. But then somebody commented, and their comment, to summarize it, is, oh, like, if that's all it is, why does Christianity only get the smoke, right? You know, why won't they call out Islam? And they responded with essentially saying, again, you need to know the context, but interestingly, they say you can't be serious. There is so much Islamophobia in this country since 9/11. Now, personally, I think that you know, if somebody from a different country like sends a plane into one of your buildings, and you know they're chanting Allahu Akbar, I mean, I you know, your religion's gonna have to take a bit of an L there. But it got me thinking about that term Islamophobia, because, you know, for those who don't know what a phobia is, it is an irrational fear of something. And so Islamophobia is an irrational fear of the religion of Islam, right? You're afraid of something that doesn't deserve as much fear as it gets. Which to that somebody responded, yeah, tell that to individuals in other countries under this religion, if the fear of Islam is justified or not. You know, women in other countries, which shout out to Islam, you know, for being one of the great modern day evangelists for women in other countries. You know, like in the Middle East, there are a lot of individuals coming to Christianity through Islam. I appreciate you guys for your good work. You know, you push them down and you oppress them so much that when they see Jesus, they're like, my God, my Lord. They're literally like Thomas. But either way, it got me thinking, because, you know, it's one thing to hear about Islam, but it's another thing to see Islam's impact in the world. Whether it's what they say outright, their positive pushes, or how people react to some things associated with their name, or just what they say amongst themselves, a bit of infighting there. And I got 3 clips for you guys. And the first one is this guy. You know, is this big muscular strong guy. You know, he's got the pecs, he's got the triceps, the biceps, the 8-pack, and right at the center he's got this, I will say, immaculate beard. Shout out to Islam again, though for a different reason. Those beards are nice. Now, personally, I think that our church fathers in Christianity, you know, set the precedent for beards being considered manly, you know, being awesome. But you guys do a good job there too. And so let's hear what he has to say concerning a positive reference for Islam and how they inspire communities.
Tell you guys more about the full force mindset. This is an army full of brothers with the same mindset, the same goals, to be the best they can possibly be, physically, mentally and spiritually, to get stronger with whatever they want. Calisthenics, wrestling, to get stronger in their deen as well. Brotherhood, we compete with each other to bring the best out of each other.
This reminds me back in my my track days, you know, where me and my buddies, we would compete with each other. You know, we were a brotherhood, because even though we were trying to, as a team, score when it comes to like running faster than our opponents, we would push each other and want to beat each other, to push each other to go further. And so I do love this mindset.
Alhamdulillah, I'm saying this with chest. The army is growing, all by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We try to,
and he's inspired by his religion, right? You know, he's using their phrases. They're inspired, that he's declaring this the will of God.
inspire the youth, even the elderly people, to reach their full potential. May Allah purify our
and he calls upon his God to, you know, purify their intentions. I love this.
intentions. Join the full force army, inshallah. We're gonna take over the world soon, inshallah. Salute my soldiers.
And then he says that towards the end, and it's a subtle thing, but he says that we're gonna take over the world. Now, ordinarily, it means nothing. Like, it essentially, oh, we're gonna spread our message and it's going to dominate the world in a positive way, right? Yeah, we're gonna take over the quote unquote world, and I think that's a positive message. Though I will say, given their history, it's a bit you tried that already, and so I maybe keep away from certain phrases. But then we shift to stuff like politics, right? And this is where things get a bit nutty for all sides. All right, you got Fox News, so for opinions of them, like however you feel about them, but you got the politicians within it, and they're kind of mulling over this event where individuals are saying horrible things. And you know, like, the political theater aside, I do find it fascinating how, one, certain dots are connected here, and two, certain things weren't said and yet are confirmed by other individuals. Now, for those who don't know the history of this phrase, "Death to America," it was stated by I believe a world leader that is now long since dead now. But what inspired him to make that phrase was that he felt that, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm getting this correct, but if I'm not, somebody in the comments correct me, he felt that from his religion, America was the enemy. Now, it was a famous religion, and I'm like, okay, maybe we can walk away from this thinking this phrase is not that religion, but it's something else. But yet the, you know what? Let's watch it and see who connects those dots for us.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting "Death to America"? Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib,
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
at a rally in your district, people were chanting "Death to America." Do you condemn?
Talk to Fox News.
Do you condemn chants of "Death to America"?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
So apparently, Fox News may be known to use quote unquote racist tropes. Now, at this point, I don't think any race has been mentioned, but let's keep going.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting "Death to America"? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to
What is her community, and what racist tropes has Fox News done?
Fox News.
Is "Death to America" racist?
That is a good question. Is it racist?
Is chanting "Death to America" racist?
Talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys gotta go deal with it.
Whoa, what? Let's replay that. What did she just say? Back up.
You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys gotta go deal with it on your own self. You're not gonna use.
Wow. So Fox didn't say that. She said that. Now, personally, I don't know her political affiliations, but I feel like she said the quiet part out loud. I feel like she did, because no race was mentioned, and yet you're saying this is Islamophobic to want to condemn that phrase. That's, you know, it boggles the mind. And let's say that was, why would you want to defend that? And so first, you got a guy who's positively saying want to take over the world. That's what like personally I think historically they should hold their tongue on that phrase. But now even in politics, you got individuals that when they see actions that are very barbaric, they're quick to throw out their phrases, and one of them is Islamophobia. Now, last but not least, I have a very interesting clip where you got this guy Matt Frad. I feel like I said his name wrong, and Michael Jones of Inspiring Philosophy, and apparently just Muslims admit that they lie. Now we know that they lie. There's this concept in Islam where they're allowed to lie, not under specific circumstances of to preserve your life or type, but no, to specifically motivate, push their religion, in the religious context, lie to make the religion look good. But let's see what they say.
Lie and we cheat and we claim things that are not part of Islam, and guess what? Not all of them are dumb. They can tell when we lie. They can tell when someone sits behind it that says Islam is peace. Islam is about peace. Why are you afraid to tell the people the truth? Whoa. Don't you think this kafir is going to open the Quran, read Surah Al-Anfal, and he's going to come across these ayat?
So people will say that many things about the Quran, but apparently in chapter 8 of the Quran, if you read that, there is commanded material of violence in that. Now, I'll let the Muslims dispute that and say maybe it's under military circumstances. Now, what pushes those military circumstances is its own question, right? What activates y'all militarily? What military situations are y'all initiating to even have the precaution of then we can be violent? But that's beside the point. Either way, let's keep hearing them. Which these freeze frames are crazy, bro. bro looks possessed.
The military ayat, which you've been trying to hide, then what are you gonna do?
Wow, he just said the quiet bit out loud.
He did. He said the quiet bit out loud. I love this guy for being honest.
What's going on here?
He's admitting that Islam is violent. It's about conquering and subjugating the world. It's not a religion of peace. The Quran is very clear that Muslims are to be violent. They're to hate the disbelievers. Surah 98 says that we are the worst of creatures. Muslims are not to be allies with us, and they are to make war on us continually and fight in the cause of Allah. Sometimes Muslims will be honest, and they'll just admit, yeah, Islam is not a religion of peace. It's meant to be violent. That goes to show you what they're doing when they tell us that Islam is a religion of peace. They're not here to conquer us, not here to subjugate us. It's called taqiyya.
Taqiyya is crazy. But anyways, and so again, just tackling the subject of Islamophobia, I don't believe it's a phobia if there's a rational fear behind it. Why? Well, certainly when it comes to the Bible, I've always got those verses on deck. First things first, let's start us off with a basic concept from our Lord Jesus Christ. You see, in Matthew chapter 7 verse 16, he says this: you will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? He makes the very blatant point. You will know an individual by their deeds, their actions. That's how you will begin to understand what's the truth about something. Not just what they say, not just what they want to be presented as. What do they do? Now then, on top of this, James chapter 2 verse 24 says this: you see that a man is justified by works, not by faith alone. And so for all those people who want to rise up as Islam's greatest defenders, guys, their works, their deeds justify them, right? If they're a religion of peace, then it'll be straightforward, right? When you see them independent, just outside of being under another individual's belief system, right? You'll see how they are. And personally, I think that these countries speak for themselves. Those ruled by Judeo-Christian values versus those ruled by any other value system. I think it speaks for itself that They're not as peaceful as you want to think. If you consider quiet peaceful, let's just say that. Ask the women. But all this to say this. This video, this isn't to just make you hate Islam. I think Islam does a good job of that by itself. But just to kind of get you to a point where I bring up this bit of wisdom from Solomon, King Solomon, son of David. One of, like, you'd call him the smartest man alive. You know, God gave him much wisdom. And he says this concerning situations we find ourselves where we want to rise to a defense, but we don't have all of the information. He says this in chapter 18, verse 13 of Proverbs. If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. You can't just rise up to defend something because you have the context of how people reacted based on one singular event. No, not one singular event dominates the belief system or the impression of a belief system, of any belief system, I should say, but multiple events dominate the belief system. Look at how individuals react and look at what the religion says by itself, independent of another person's values, by the way, and look at them historically of how they've affected the world. Because I think that all three strikes are out for Islam. Historically, I mean, you want to talk about Christian crusades, what started them? What caused Christianity to crash out? Well, let's just say some people came into our territory and said, we are the captain now. That made us crash out, right? And then there's obviously even just recent events. Like in the last 20 years, there have been some really messed up things that's happened, like outside of and within America. And then, of course, what do they say amongst themselves, and what does their book say amongst themselves with their book? And so I think that very clearly denotes some bit of concern, rational concern, when it comes to looking at Islam. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think I hit the nail on the head when it comes to, like, hey, it's not phobia, it's rational? Or do you think, no, I'm just a very religiously motivated, prejudiced individual who is apparently can be considered racist according to some of these people, because that was weird. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Apparently, I could be considered racist. I thought it was a religion, but apparently it's a race. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Either way, that's all I have to say for you guys. God bless and stay blessed. Until next time.